For thousands of years, people have told scary stories about mythical creatures to scare kids and pass down warnings from older generations. But the real shock comes when we discover that behind every story, there's always a sign of truth. Today, I'll show you 7 mythical creatures that weren't just made up. They were real, and some of them might still be roaming our world today. Number 7. Hydra. Do you remember the monster Hercules fought? That terrifying beast with many heads? That legendary creature was called the Hydra. It sounds impossible, but here's the surprise. It actually exists. But don't worry, it's not exactly the nightmare from a myth. In ancient Greek stories, the Hydra was a deadly water monster shaped like a snake, known for one terrifying trick. If you cut off one head, 2 grew back. Even worse, its breath was toxic enough to kill. Hercules defeated this beast during his famous 12 labors, making it one of the greatest stories ever told. The Greeks and Romans couldn't get enough of this story. It appeared everywhere, in paintings, pottery, sculptures, even coins. Clearly, this epic battle fascinated them deeply. But here's the twist. A real-life Hydra exists today. It's not huge or deadly, though. This Hydra is tiny, only about 10 millimeters long, about the size of a grain of rice. It lives underwater and catches its food using stinging arms. Number 6. Vampire. We've all heard stories about vampires, creatures that come back to life, drink blood, and hate sunlight. But could some of these scary stories be true? Stories of vampire-like creatures aren't new. They've appeared in nearly every culture around the world for hundreds of years. In Eastern Europe, scared villagers once believed vampires were in their towns, so they put wooden stakes in dead bodies, thinking it was the only way to stop them from coming back to life. But why did people believe these scary stories? Part of the reason is simple. They did not know what happens to a body after death. Sometimes a dead body's nails or hair looked longer. Other times, blood gathered around the mouth. These odd signs made people sure the dead were not resting. They thought something evil was at work. These stories did not stay only in Europe. Similar creatures show up everywhere. Strigoi in Romania, Vrikalakas in Greece, Uper in Eastern Europe, a Sambisam in Africa, Vedala in South Asia. But they all have one scary thing. They come back to feed on the living. Could vampires be real? Number 5. Jersey Devil. Deep in the Pine Barrens of southern New Jersey, there's a creature that scared the woods for hundreds of years. Since 1735, terrified witnesses have described something truly horrifying. A monster that's part goat, part bat, and part kangaroo. But its head looks more like a twisted horse, crowned with scary-looking horns. At night, it moves quietly on 2 legs, ending in sharp split hooves. Witnesses say it unleashes loud screams that echo through the forest, terrifying anyone nearby. Farmers regularly reported missing chickens stolen by this mysterious predator. In fact, one farmer even shot at the beast, but no one could figure out exactly what he had seen. The legend says it all started when the creature was born to a witch, the wife of Daniel Leeds. Moments after birth, it sprouted dark wings, shrieked loudly, and vanished into the darkness, leaving only panic behind. But the fear was at its highest in 1909, when newspapers exploded with sightings, causing schools to shut down and workers to lock their doors, too afraid to leave home. The Jersey Devil, as it's known, is still a mystery even today. Is it a real monster hiding in New Jersey or just an old story that got out of hand? Number 4. Ningen. In the early 2000s, Japanese sailors spotted something strange swimming near Antarctica. They called it Ningen. Imagine this, a creature with long, creepy arms and a body like a mermaid. Soon, photos popped up online, claiming to show this mysterious being. But sadly, most were proven fake. But here's the big question. Could a creature like the Neen Jin really exist today? Antarctica is huge, mysterious, and barely explored. So who knows what's hiding there? Scientists don't know for sure, but they have some surprising theories. Some experts think the Neen Jin could actually be a swimming sloth called Thalassocnus. Sounds weird, right? But these sloths had long arms, perfect for swimming. Their fossils are often found in Chile and Argentina, two countries very close to Antarctica. Another shocking theory? The Neen Jin might be an ancient shark called Aquila lamna. This shark also had long fins, swimming silently through prehistoric oceans, just like stories describe the Neen Jin. However, fossil records show that Aquila lamna disappeared around 66 million years ago during a huge extinction event. But here's the twist. Sharks are nature's toughest survivors. Many have lived longer than dinosaurs in global extinctions. So what if Aquila lamna didn't disappear, but adapted, hiding in the frozen shadows beneath Antarctica? No one can say for sure. Number 3, Mothman. Out of all the creatures on this list, Mothman is one of the most recent to appear. His story began in 1966. Not ancient legend, but modern mystery. His first sighting was in a small town called Point Pleasant in the state of West Virginia. And since then, the legend began to grow. Witnesses described a towering black creature with glowing red eyes, 7 to 10 feet tall, strong and bird-like, yet far too massive to be any ordinary bird. Sightings started on November 15th, 1966. And strangely, they stopped exactly 13 months later, on December 15th, 1967. Why does that date matter? Because it's the day the Silver Bridge collapsed during rush hour, killing 46 people, and 2 bodies were never recovered. Years later, author John Keel released a book called The Mothman Prophecies, claiming the creature was linked to strange activity and possibly even the bridge disaster. It was a bold claim, one that gave Mothman a chilling reputation. Over 100 sightings were reported in just that short window, and many locals later said they were too afraid to speak up at the time. That's a lot of fear for a creature no one truly understood. Was Mothman evil? That's the mystery. He never attacked, but people said he watched from a distance or banged on car roofs, especially when teenagers were inside. Compared to other scary creatures, that's pretty tame. Still, Point Pleasant never forgot. The town even built a statue in his honor, not because they loved him, but because his presence left a mark. Number 2, hobbits. Everyone knows hobbits as brave little heroes from the movie The Lord of the Rings. But what if I told you hobbits were actually real? Not in cozy homes with round doors, but in dark caves hunting dwarf elephants. In 2003, digging scientists made a surprising discovery on Flores Island, Indonesia. They found the bones of a tiny adult, barely over 3 feet tall. At first, scientists thought this was just a person with dwarfism, a condition that causes short height. But one strange feature made them think again. Unusually large, early human feet. Since then, even more of these tiny humans have been found. Scientists named them Homo floresiensis. We know them better as hobbits, and they lived between 50,000 and 100,000 years ago, alongside bigger, stronger humans. With brains about the size of a chimpanzee's, you'd think they'd struggle, but they didn't. They made stone tools and hunted animals, showing they were smart survivors. So what happened to these real-life hobbits? Humans happened. When modern humans arrived in Indonesia, competition likely led to the hobbit's sad extinction around 50,000 years ago. Not exactly the epic ending from Hobbit stories. Yet, these real-life hobbits matter. A lot. They show that human evolution isn't simple. Not everyone in our ancient family was big and tall. Some were small, clever, and completely different. Could these little humans have started local myths long before Tolkien imagined them? Number 1, El Gran Maya. Out of all mythical sea creatures, One beast recently emerged online, and it's quickly become the scariest legend of our time. Its name? El Gran Maya. Witnesses claim it lives somewhere deep in the Arctic Ocean, so deep that no sunlight reaches it. According to descriptions and illustrations, El Gran Maya is huge, over 2,000 feet long. That's the size of 6 football fields end to end. Its mouth, a nightmare, packed with hundreds of sharp teeth, wide enough to swallow a whale whole. And its face, lined with 6 glowing white eyes that pierce through total darkness. But here's what made people start believing. A few years ago, researchers recorded eerie sounds from deep underwater in the Arctic. Scientists said it was probably just ice breaking apart, but others disagreed. They heard something alive, something mysterious, calling from below the ice. The most chilling story comes from a deep ocean trip. As the team lowered a camera into the deep hole, something massive passed by, not clearly visible but big enough to block out the light. The footage never went public, but crew members reportedly left the mission and never returned to sea. So, is El Gran Maya real? Science says there's no proof, yet the ocean is huge, deep, and mostly unexplored, especially near the frozen Arctic. Our fear of strange sounds, hidden creatures, and endless darkness makes El Gran Maya seem not just possible, but terrifyingly real. Therefore, until we explore every hidden corner of the sea, El Gran Maya is still a scary mystery, maybe just a myth, or maybe the greatest secret hiding beneath the ocean waves. But El Gran Maya is just a drop in the ocean. There are countless other creatures once dismissed as myth, yet proven to be real. Subscribe for more such content. Thanks for watching.